Well, we have Chase Tryan here today. We're going to do a little podcast while we're waiting on some runs to show up from our practice session we did with you earlier today. But man, we appreciate you coming by and spending some time with us today.
Yeah, man. Thanks for letting me come. It's fun roping today.
You bet. It's a beautiful day for it. So it couldn't have been much better.
Yeah. Tomorrow, not so good.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we're about over these bad cold days here in Texas. But man, no, we just want to, I just thought it would be cool to kind of sit down and just have a conversation with you. You're a pretty quiet guy. You don't say a whole lot at the ropings and the rodeos and stuff. So, kind of get your story. I think you have a pretty unique story from what little bit of bits and pieces I've heard about it. But first off, like you said, you're 33 years old now, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you've made the NFR how many times?
Just 5 now.
5 times now. Sir. Just 5.
Wow.
Well, only
compared
5.
To the story.
I'd trade you. I'm at 0. So
compared to the journey, it feels right. Like, man, what have you been doing?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. But let's go back to the Tryan family. You guys have, you're kind of enriched in team roping. You have just so for the people that don't know, Clay and Travis and Brady, those are your first cousins, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so do you have any brothers or sisters that rope?
I have a sister that she does rope. She ropes really well, but she's had kids and, got stuff. She still loves to rope.
Right.
She still ropes dang near as good as she ever did. But, just different priorities in life happen. And
And you grew up in Montana, right?
Yes, sir, I did.
Helena, is that right?
Yep.
Okay. So what was what was the winters like in Montana growing up? Did you guys go to Arizona back then or no?
Heck no. I've still never got to go to Arizona. Like I go for 1 week during Tucson when we enter. That's about it. We stayed hooked up there all winter. And man, it took a lot of effort. Anybody up there knows it. Like if you've ever tried to pursue something in the winter, it's not easy. And then, there would be times, weeks you couldn't even ride your horse because it wasn't healthy for them. It was too hard on their lungs. So we just we'd rent, actually Ty Erickson's parents built a barn and they lived about 5 miles from us and we could rent that barn. I think it was a couple times a week and we had to haul steers over to it every time and, wrap them, unwrap them, haul steers, come back to our house, grab horses, take the horse over there, rope, take the horses back, then go back and get the steers and had to find people. Like it took a lot of effort, but
there's a lot to it.
There was a lot to it.
Yeah.
And then that was just hoping the weather was willing to let us do it.
So did you grow up watching your cousins rope, Clay and Travis and Brady? Brady, is he older than you? Or
no,
he's
younger than me, actually.
Oh, he's younger than you. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but Clay and Travis, they're older than you.
Yeah.
Did you kind of grow up watching them rope and getting into it? Or your dad, he roped, I'm guessing too. Is that right?
Yeah, my dad roped quite a bit. He circuit rodeoed, amateur rodeoed a lot. He wrote good. Clay and Travis, they were kind of, by the time I really got serious about it and was like, man, I really love to rope, they were gone. They were out rodeoing.
Right,
so,
yeah.
Like, we got to watch them on TV. I guess back then you'd only watch them at the NFR, but
right.
Like when that's about the only time. They'd show up every once in a while and rope and stuff. You're like, holy smokes, man. There's people out here that rope that good?
Yeah.
Like, dang.
Yeah.
But that is, I didn't really ever get to rope with them.
Right.
Every once in a while. If they were going to be home for a week or so, I would get to go over and rope with them for a couple of days. And I thought it was the coolest thing ever because they'd bring their partner up. You know what I mean? Whoever they're roping with at the time. I think Travis brought Michael Jones up quite a bit. And I got, I just got to rope with Michael Jones. I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
Like,
heck yeah. MJ back in the day, he was the man.
Oh, man.
That was the guy everybody looked at and thought
Jelly Belly truck and trailer, it was sweet.
Yeah. How old were you when this was all going on?
Probably.
Or how old were you when you first got serious about really roping and getting good at it?
I always loved it. I really did. I used to actually head. I used to head for my dad at the amateur rodeos. And then I think when I turned 17, I just loved to rope. I'd head or heel. I'd head. I think we'd go to the jackpots. I was actually talking to a friend about this the other day. And we'd go to the jackpots. There were 25 a man. You could enter them 4 times. They'd have the open and the old numbers all the way down to a 4. And I would rope from the open all the way down to the 4. And a lot of times we just rode the same horse. I had one horse as a paint and he wasn't even very good.
Right.
But you could head and heel on him. And I'd head from the open on down to what would be the probably 12 or 11 roping now, and then heel on down to what would be the 7 or the 8.
Right. And how old were you when this is happening?
Oh, probably 12 to 16 or something like that. Yeah.
Right.
And then as my number progressed, I just eliminated the number of ropings I could rope in.
Right. Yeah. It kind of like, a lot of kids back in the day, I remember I never roped an open until I got to be like an 8, but kind of the same deal. But, so when did you really start getting serious about healing and, thinking like, hey, I want a pro rodeo and that kind of stuff? Like what age was that for you?
I always loved, like I said, I always loved roping, and I really started pursuing healing more right about end of my junior year, because all of a sudden it was like, well, college is coming around, and I'm thinking I got to go to college. I need to get a, scholarship and all that stuff. I can't do both ends.
Yeah.
So, and Brady headed, and another kid up there, and Cody too, he headed. All three of us headed, and everybody, I was like, well, if I start healing, I could probably get one of these guys.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm like, I'll heal.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll be the guy that heals. Yeah.
I'll fall on that grenade.
Right. Yeah. So you're around 17 years old, and then 18 years old, you had something major happen.
Yep. Well, first major thing, I entered my first pro rodeo on my permit. I was super excited, and it was...
Where was it at?
Arlee, Montana, actually.
What was it?
Arlee, Montana was the first one.
Montana.
Yep.
I don't even think I've ever been there or heard of it.
I think you got to drive through it to know where it's at. And you got to be headed to it.
Right.
But it was, I think I entered the rodeo, and it was like the week after Memorial Day. And on Memorial Day weekend, I got into a car wreck. The buddy that I was with, it was wet roads, and I don't remember. I don't remember. There's a whole week of my life that I can't quite remember, but they said that car started fishtailing and rolled a few times off the road. No one knows. It's honestly, it's a really crazy story, because he got knocked out, and when he woke up, I was outside the car walking around, but the seatbelt was fastened, so no one knows if I was buckled in or not. And then I don't know if you remember the old Razor phones, the flip phones. Yeah. Well, like if you flip it hard enough, it broke in half, right?
Yeah.
So I had one of those at the time because I thought they were really sweet. And
as most 18-year-old would.
Yeah. And we're on a road with no service. So I would probably didn't have my phone out playing games or on Facebook. Surely not back then. So I don't even think it existed.
Yeah.
But when he woke up, my phone was flipped open and on. It's sitting right on the seat right next to him. So he was able to call his dad. I don't know how. That's an unexplainable thing. If people don't believe you don't have angels watching over you, man. I feel like I got a story for you.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
But he was able to call his dad, and they come, and his dad come put a coat over my head. I guess I had a pretty good gash on my head or whatever, and it was pretty beat up. And they called 911. I actually got the only time I did get to ride in the helicopter. I got live flighted from Harlowton, Montana to Billings, Montana. And like I said, I don't remember any of it. I guess I gave the people on the helicopter my parents' phone numbers. They took, I can't even, I used to think I went through the worst of it, but I think from the sounds of it, it wasn't easy on them, because they made a 4-hour trip in like an hour and a half.
Wow.
You know what I mean? I don't, for whatever reason, it was, crazy. But I fractured my skull. I was on life support for a few days. Wasn't, at the time, according to what, my parents say, there was a time they weren't even sure if I was gonna, there was no telling. It could have went either way.
Right.
Either way would have surprised them.
Yeah.
And I lived in intensive care for, I think, close to a week. And then I spent another 2 weeks in the hospital just trying to get everything kind of back to normal. And then I started the recovery. And I had to go through, I went through every form of therapy.
Right.
Physical, speech, all that stuff. I did, I think, 3 or 4 months of it.
So did you have to relearn how to walk, how to talk? Like, I mean, kind of what was your recovery process like? I mean, because that's a huge
balance was hard, man. I had no balance. I could walk, but my parents, they said, and the walks suck because you couldn't go nowhere. You're so slow. Like, we couldn't even do nothing. They said, and you're like, man, I feel like I've went a long ways. I mean, I'd lost a bunch of weight. I think I remember stepping on the scale, and can't see it now, but I weighed 132 pounds.
Wow.
Like I was eating, I think I ate through a straw for a few days, and I don't think it was very good.
Yeah.
Didn't want it. But yeah, I had to do it all, man. I remember I had to relearn all my balance, everything, man. Like looking at simple problems and you just can't figure it out. Like it was, and then just as the brain healed, slowly I'm seeing things and stuff just kind of slowly got back.
Right.
It was a process, man.
Yeah. So you were 18. What year would that have been?
2007, maybe 2007 or 2008. One of the two. I can't quite remember.
So how long was it?
That was my senior year, is 07.
Right. So how long was it? This wreck happened Memorial Day weekend in May.
Yeah.
How long was it before you got back to like where you could swing a rope and even think about riding a horse and maybe roping a steer?
So I think it was the 1st of August before, maybe the very end of July. I was kind of getting back to normal, and I lucked out. My uncle and my grandpa split a Heal-O-Matic for me. It was one of the old ones that would hop on the ground.
Yeah,
like you could just stand on a platform and heal it. Yep. And they're like, this is what they wanted to do it for me. So that was a huge blessing. But I remember like roping and stuff, man. I couldn't even swing a rope very fast. It was hard to do. And I couldn't ride. I don't even remember. I think I tried roping steers once in August, and it was terrible.
Yeah.
Like I had to wear a helmet. I had to wear a helmet till I think January 1st is when I finally got to take it.
That's hard on an 18-year-old kid.
Dude,
you know what I mean? Like,
it sucked.
You're like, I don't want to wear this helmet. But
I got a couple pretty funny stories about it, but I just remember the college rodeo. I'm walking around. I got this stupid helmet. You know what I mean? All these, the first college rodeo I've ever been to. Like,
yeah.
Whatever. But man, the doctor told me, he's like, man, I mean, it sucks, but it's either that or just don't rope. Like whatever you want more, man. I mean,
yeah,
it's up to you.
These are your options.
Yeah. Like this is what you have. He said, you cannot wear a helmet, but if you hit your head again, you're in a bad spot. Like you don't need to do that.
Yeah.
So, I should actually, it's kind of funny. So I roped I jackpotted a little bit in the summer. I mean, I say that in the fall, and then college rodeos kicked up. I did the fall season. Well, then I entered my first rodeo. It was the Nile in Billings.
Okay. That's in November, right?
Yeah. Middle October, something like that. Yeah, okay. So I entered my actual first rodeo I'm going to get to go to, and I entered it with Brady, and, I showed up. My horse was sore at the time. I showed up with a hypnotic heel rope and a helmet. I had no horse, no nothing. I just walked in with a helmet and a rope.
Right.
Like, well, let's do this. I mean, I'm ready. Yeah. Let's go at it.
Yeah. What a way to kick off your first rodeo.
Yeah, that was my first pro rodeo experience.
Wow. That's crazy. I mean, just the whole thing is a lot. I mean, that's a huge life-changing moment, getting in a wreck like that. I mean, so, knock on wood for myself, like I haven't ever had a life-changing experience like that, and I know in my own experience, I get to where I don't want to say I'm ungrateful for like little things, but like I know some people that are like, I'm happy that I can go rope and ride my horses and not be in pain because of this illness that I have, you know, and I've never had to go through that. So I get to where like, I don't even understand that way of thinking, but when you go through something like what you went through, it has to change you in that way. Is that kind of what happened to you too, a little bit?
It really did open up my eyes, man. Yeah. It was like this life is not a guarantee, man. And at any time it can be ripped from you, man.
Yeah.
I felt like I come about as close as you can without actually seeing the other side. Yeah. And it was a huge eye opener, man. It really humbled me.
Really?
Like, man, like it did, like the stuff I felt like I took for granted. Like, I mean, even things like my parents would do and stuff. Like, like I just didn't really realize, man, how good I really had it before.
Right.
And that was, it was a huge eye opener, man.
Mentally laying in that hospital bed for, I mean, you were in the hospital for a month, it sounds like.
Pretty close.
I mean, maybe even a little bit more, whatever.
Because I think the first trip I left was I went and watched my sister at the college finals. So, I mean, that's at the end of June, I think. So,
Right,
it was pretty close to a month, I think.
So laying in that hospital bed, I mean, those are demons that you're fighting in there just mentally. I mean, that's, like I said, I mean, I'm from the outside looking in on this deal. I've been so blessed and so fortunate to not have to go through an experience like that, but I can't imagine the thoughts that run through your mind whenever.
I don't know if I was mentally there enough to have those demons.
Yeah.
I was just like,
you were just kind of existing a little bit.
Pretty much, man, for about a week and a half, lights on when no one was home.
Right.
I mean, my mom would walk in every morning and she said she was pretty freaked out because for about a week, she'd walk in, I'd be like, hey, why am I here? She's like, well, told you that yesterday. You not remember this? Like, no. I got nothing.
It's just such an unreal experience, and it's life-changing, and,
big time.
And so you're 18, you get to go to the Nile with Brady. Did you guys do any good at the rodeo?
I actually filled my permit.
You filled your permit, first one.
Pretty excited about it. Yeah, I was jacked. I thought rodeo's the easiest thing in the world.
Right. And you were wrong, probably.
Oh, very wrong.
Yeah.
Very wrong.
But a lot of people think that. That's a normal thought to think whenever you fill your permit or win your first big rodeo on your card. So you said you went to college. Where did you go to college at?
I went to Montana State University for 2 years. I was a Bobcat.
A Bobcat.
Yep. And it was very cold.
I bet.
A lot of snow.
I bet. So what was the college rodeo experience like for you?
Man, it was good. It was kind of fun. So I never drank or anything. I was never a party person. Like the doctors kind of told me, man, for as long as you can, stay away from alcohol, stay away from that stuff. So I took that really serious. I'm like, I don't know if it was the normal college experience that a lot of people get. You know what I mean? Like you're kind of your first time out. And honestly, for the first 5 months, I probably shouldn't have went to college. Like I wasn't ready. I wasn't mentally there. I was failing. It was kind of bad, but for the first semester, I think up until the last month, I was failing almost every class and just couldn't figure out
not because you're not intelligent, but just
my brain was still healing. I didn't realize it. And I'm like, I can't figure it out. Like I'll read something today and then tomorrow I can't remember what I read. I'm seeing stuff on tests that I don't even know what it is. But then one day it clicked and my brain started healing and it was not that college was easy because it wasn't, but I started passing my classes and it started feeling like everything started feeling good again.
Yeah. So that healing process with your brain, was that a year long? Was that 5 months long? Was that a month long? I mean, kind of what was that? What was the timeline? And then what was that process like once you kind of felt like your brain was starting to heal and things were starting to actually click,
It was, for the first month, it was just, we were trying to relearn everything.
Right.
And then it was a slow process. And it just seemed like as time went on and that healed a little bit more and more, things would start learning faster. It might take me, the first time it might have took me 3 days to learn something and then in another month's time, I could learn it in an hour.
Right.
I could just comprehend things better. As time progressed, obviously it healed. And that was probably the biggest thing is that I could just, when I learned something, I could keep it and have it. I wouldn't have to relearn it 3 or 4 times before it stuck.
Right. So this is 2008.
Mm-hmm.
Probably. And you went to school in 7 and 8, maybe 9, something like that.
I think I started in fall of 7. So I went for 2 years. So whatever that was, I guess I went till spring of 9. Maybe?
Yeah. So 2009 rolls around. You're kind of done with college now.
Wasn't planning on being done. I was setting myself up for a 4-year degree. And then I was riding around at Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
Are you just kind of circuit rodeoing right now as far as your rodeoing career?
Man, we were circuit rodeoing and we'd go to Canada a little bit here and there, go to just the bigger ones up there. And I was loving Canada. I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
Right.
The rodeos felt huge.
It's a big deal up there.
It's pretty sweet, man.
Yeah,
it really is.
It is.
And we're riding around at Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and it's a co-approved circuit rodeo. So we go over there and I'm riding around and I'm talking to Clay Tryan, and he goes, what are you doing this fall? I was like, well, probably going back to school, I guess. He goes, you got to come down and rope with me. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, I could use a healer to, just to rope with every day. And so I don't have to call somebody and I could work it, I could practice for the finals and all that stuff. I was like, okay. Like,
yeah,
I want, like, the thought was like, oh, that's a cool thought. Like, well,
Yeah,
like, it's just a dream though.
right, yeah.
At this
How
point,
am I going to even make this become a reality?
yeah, because it's so weird, but being from Montana and stuff, it's like all that stuff's like you see all this stuff, but it feels like it's so far away.
It's like a pipe dream.
Yeah,
basically.
it's like you see it, like you're never around people. You mean like we'd see the best guys show up, the best guys in the world show up, but we'd only see them 3 times a year. Like we'd go watch Livingston Slack because it's like, dude, there's fixing to be 90 of the best team ropers in the world go right here. Like, I'm jacked. These guys that I read about and see on tapes and stuff.
Yep.
I want to go watch them.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but you only get to watch them like a couple times.
Right, exactly.
But I was like, well, I'm like, okay, that's cool. Yeah, it'd be sweet. Like just the thought of it was, it just seems so far-fetched. So like, you think I'm going to go to Texas and do all this stuff? And I was like, well, whatever. But no, I kind of just sat on it for a while. And I was like, man, I would really like to try it one time. Like, it sounds like such a sweet thing. Talked to my parents about it. They weren't happy. They're like,
they were wanting you to go back and get your degree.
Which I 100% think if you degrees are good, man. You need they're good to have. Like I'm not telling anybody you don't need a degree, but the choice I made was I was like, I don't want to be up here anymore. I want to try it. Yeah. So I did. I called my coach and said, man, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to come back. And I did. I took off I think I went to the Nile again and then went to Casper's, got a rodeo in the fall. I went to that and went to Texas from there about the beginning of November.
So are you coming to Texas with like a partner?
No.
And you're going to rodeo or you're just coming to Texas I'm just going to go heel steers for my cousin Clay Tryan. That's one of the best headers in the world.
Yeah.
And that's like, where we have no plans other than that. Like that was really kind of it for you, really. Is that right?
Essentially that's what it was. I kind of talked to Matt Robertson called me and said, hey man, what do you think about going to some rodeos next year? I'm like, cool. Yeah. I'll be back in June. When the rodeos kick off, let's start it. He goes, well, we could, maybe we'll try to go to some in the winter or something like that. I'm like, which I think I had won enough money in the fall. I was going to get into San Antonio and Houston. So I was like, well, I'll just go practice. I'll go to those. And he goes, well, let's just go to a couple other ones. So I was like, okay. Yeah. I'll be down there. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Sounds expensive, but it sounds fun. Like I'll do it. I'll already be there.
Right.
And, but yeah, essentially that's what I was doing. I was just going down there to like, I just want to see it, man.
Right.
I want it.
So when you fast forward, you get to Texas, it's probably October?
It was November, I think.
November. Yeah. So it's already getting cold, down here. And so what was your experience like once you got here? Kind of.
Oh man, it was the greatest thing ever. Like I'm literally I bought a 4-year-old horse and to practice on. I had one horse, literally had one horse. I run every steer on this one horse.
Right.
It was the little dun horse that Batman that Tyler Worley did so good on.
Okay. I forgot you own that horse. Yeah, that's right.
I brought him down and Batman, the week before I left, I bought a 4-year-old horse. I'm like, well,
these are the 2 I'm taking.
Yeah, those are the only 2 I own. So I'm
right.
like, well, they're going. Like, we're going to try it. And I'm like, I've never owned horses with much age on them at the time. So I was like, 4-year-old, he's probably fine. I run 50 steers on him the first day I got down here.
Like, this is day 1 for the horse too, probably.
This was day 1 down in Texas. I'm like, this be kind of fun to rope. Like, no, he got thrown in the fire as well.
Right.
I'm like, well, I guess you're either going to make it or you're going to blow up. One of the 2. I don't know, but
we'll find out.
Yeah, we're fixing to find out here in a hurry.
So you get down here and you have 2 horses. Yep. And you spend the fall. Did you start rodeoing that winter, like in January?
Yeah, we went to Odessa.
And you roped with who?
Matt Robertson.
Okay.
Yeah. And didn't do any good at Odessa. But I think that was the year it took like an 8-4 to place or something like that. It was
stupid.
That was my first experience of real pro rodeoing. Right. I showed up and I'm like, holy smokes. Like,
this is a whole nother world.
Yeah, like you guys are all good.
Yeah. All 100 of you that showed up.
There's not just like 3 good teams. Like everybody's good.
Yeah.
Like, oh, sweet. This is fun.
Yeah. So you start the year off. You're open with Matt Robertson.
Yeah.
Are you on your permit still, or you're on your rookie card?
No, I bought my card as soon as I filled my permit. So I'm like, which looking back on it, maybe shouldn't have done it. But I mean, I don't know. Rookie of the year is pretty sweet, but that wasn't my insight.
Yeah.
Like I wanted, you know what I mean? I had things that if I could do it. That's why that wasn't what my goal was.
Right. Yeah.
So, I circuit rodeoed and went to Canada all that summer on my rookie year. Won a little bit. It was, I mean, I don't know. It was okay. It wasn't, we always can do better.
Yeah.
You can always look back on, you're like, man, I wish I'd have caught that steer, but
right.
Whatever. No, it would have been my second year. We did, and we went to, we started in Odessa and just kind of went to Odessa, Denver, Tucson.
So this is
we kind of did
really, pro rodeo full time. I'm rodeoing for a living experience.
Still, the thought wasn't, I didn't know I was rodeoing for a living.
Like, but you're doing the same thing that the guys that are,
No, exactly. We did. We entered everywhere. I mean, we entered everywhere everybody else did.
Yeah.
Like, we just kind of went along with it.
Are you thinking like, I'm going to make the finals this year? I mean, what are your kind of your goals and stuff as you get started right here?
Honestly, I don't even know if I had goals. I was just there like, I want to just see how good I can do.
Right.
Like I didn't really have expectations. I didn't know what to think, man. I mean, it was, and a lot of it, like I don't know if I saw myself as that guy at the point, you know what I mean? Like I showed up, I was down here as an 8 healer. Like, I don't know. I just felt like a guy.
Right. This is like 2009, 2010, probably 2010.
Yeah. This would have been the fall of 2009 and the winter of 10.
Yeah.
Is when all this was going on.
So there's a couple years here before your first NFR that happens in 2012.
Yep.
What was those a couple years like to lead you up to that year? Because you made it with Kevin Daniels, is that right?
Yes, sir. It does. So 2010 started. Actually, me and Matt had a pretty good winter. I think after we left Clovis, we were in the either top 15 or top 20. And I was like, this is the coolest. You know what I mean? Like, it was sweet. And then the head horse that he had went down. And I mean, it sucks. He lost him. It was a bad deal. And then our summer just kind of went to heck after that. It's just living proof of, what a good head horse will do for a team.
Yeah.
Like it
makes all the difference in the world.
Man, it was huge.
Especially in 2010.
Yes, exactly.
It's a little different in 2022, but in 2010, the head horse was the MVP of the team.
Yeah, that was right when I showed up, right when Chase Tryan's Do and Kate showed up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
arguably two of the greatest head horses.
Exactly. At the same time. And I remember at Plains Day, he goes, man, I need to fly to North Dakota for a day. I'm like, okay. Like, it's really cold
random.
up there. I just come from Montana. It's really cold.
Yeah.
He come back and he goes, oh yeah, I bought 2 head horses. I'm like, wow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's the thought of that it's just crazy to me.
Right.
But he did. And that's right when, and he dominated on those 2 horses.
It was unbelievable.
Really, it was amazing.
Yeah.
But that was right at that time. And we did good. We did good up till Clovis. And then kind of after that, his horse got hurt. And then kind of had honestly, like a really rough summer. You know what I mean? Just felt like couldn't get nothing going. Kind of we were just battling stuff, all sorts of things. And then he decided to go home, and I actually got to finish that year with Coleman Proctor. I was like, this is sweet.
Great opportunity.
Man, like, dude, head's good. I was super excited. He was all gung-ho about it, and we roped in the fall. We won a little bit. I mean, obviously felt like we could have did a lot better, and if we got, we did it again, we would do a lot better. But it was there. And then let's see, 2011 rolls around. I start my year off with Logan Olson, and he struggled, man. I never had so much fun roping with someone and not won.
Yeah, I mean, I've had an experience like that before.
Oh, dude, I was like,
it's like you want to win so bad.
I want to win
so much fun to rope with this guy.
This is the funnest time I've ever had, and we are not winning anything.
Yeah,
and he decided to go home. So then I roped with Aaron Sinigini for I think we started. I think Logandale or Huntsville was our first rodeo, and we roped until pretty much after California. And he said he wanted to do something different, which we didn't really. It was weird. We didn't win nothing. The same old thing, man. As soon as you split, we entered Window Rock, Clovis, New Mexico, and Silver City. And I think we won Window Rock, placed second at Clovis, and might have won something at Silver City. Like, as soon as you take the pressure,
then you win 10,000.
As soon as you take the pressure off it, you just go to winning.
Right.
So it was like that. Well, then that's when me and Kevin started. Was at Reno, 2011.
Okay. And then Kevin Daniel, I mean, he's made the NFR several times before you guys roped.
3. Right? Yeah. This was, I was this is like, so excited.
You're man. Like, here's my chance, right? I mean, is that kind of what you're thinking? Like,
yes, this was my opportunity. I remember about. I talked to him at Guyman. We had roped second partners some and had some success. Like, had a lot of good chances. But I talked to him at Guyman. I said, who you, and you know, the old school way, like how Clay Tryan always told me, he said, don't actually ask him, like, you know, just keep putting yourself out there. And if you're good enough, like it's always was the headers will ask you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it was kind of the way it was for the heelers. Like if you're good enough, the headers will ask you. And that's still, I mean, I've always had that way of thinking. And I sometimes think it's kind of hurt me at times because there's been times I probably should have texted headers and be like, hey man, who you got over here? But I've always just had that mindset of like, if you're roping good, the headers will ask you. Because that's how it was. So I did. I told Kevin at Guyman, I said, hey man, I'm going to be down there this spring. Who you roping with and who you practicing with? He goes, well, I don't really have anybody to practice with. I said,
because he was living here in Stephenville, right?
Yep. And I said, he goes, I guess you can come over. I said, perfect. When you want. And I'd never spent a spring in Texas.
Right.
Like I'd always went home where.
Probably like after California.
Yeah. I went to California, maybe go to Guyman, then go home.
Yeah.
I'd leave Guyman, go home.
Right.
Like, so then I got my first Texas spring experience.
Right.
And I'm like, he goes, I'm going to start roping. Like, I want to run the first year by 6. I'm like, holy smokes. Like, why? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why are we doing that?
Right, yeah. And, why so early?
We learned that pretty fast, though. And it's 115 during the day or whatever.
Right, yeah.
Like,
so.
But that was,
Get to start roping with KD. I mean, are you thinking this is your shot?
I went, I did. I instantly went, bought another heel horse. Like, I'm all in, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to do whatever I need to do.
And how important is it to do that, to kind of, because you're how old right now, or during this time? You're 20 something?
22 maybe.
Yeah. So you're a 22-year-old kid, still pretty young.
Yeah.
He's a veteran.
I think he was 31.
Right.
30 or 31 at the time.
Like he's
made it 3 times.
Yeah, like he's had some success. And you're this young kid that's, I don't want to say unproven, but
I was unproven,
yet to make the NFR, you know?
I've yet to do anything.
Right.
Like,
and
on
so
paper, I got nothing.
You have this tremendous opportunity. How important was it to go buy a horse and almost prove to him like, hey, I'm all in and I'm for real. Like I'm serious. Like, do you think that was a big deal?
I mean, I personally, I do. Like I wanted to show like, hey man, I will do whatever this is going to take. Right. Man, I want this to work. Like I want roping to work. And I thought, we roped pretty good. I thought we roped good together, of course. And I was like, man, I know I needed another horse. And so I instantly, as soon as and maybe I should have did it before, but as soon as we started roping, I mean, it wasn't 2 days into it and I was calling people for horses.
Yeah.
Like I'd had some horses kind of picked out. One in particular, the one I ended up buying, I was like, I kind of heard the guy wanted to sell him or would sell him.
Right.
I mean, so I was like, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Like, I drove to Montana and tried him.
Right. So you guys started at Reno, probably was your first rodeo, I'm guessing, or somewhere around there.
Sisters Week. Yeah. Right before Reno.
Right.
I think a week and a half before that.
So how did 2011 end up for you guys?
I finished 18th in the world.
Okay.
Like,
did he? What was he? Did he make the finals that year?
No, he didn't either.
So he was right outside. Also, so
that's another deal that was kind of funny because, I mean, he's made the finals and just totally different perspectives. Yeah. He's made the finals 3 times at the time, and he missed it, and he was
upset.
Yeah, he was upset and bummed. Yeah. I'm like,
holy crap! I was 18th.
I'm smiling because I'm like, dude, I have a chance.
Yeah, like now I know it's a realistic goal. Is that kind of what you were thinking? Like,
yeah, because it's always been on this pedestal of like, this is this NFR.
It's like it's so far up the mountain that you can't see the top. You can't even see it when you're at the bottom.
Heck no.
It's not what I tell people. Like, you can't even see.
You ever see those mountains that got the clouds on it, and there's that much mountain above it, but you just can't see any of it.
Yeah, that's exactly
like you can only see to the clouds.
Right. And then you're like, I don't even know what it's like. I'm not even close because I haven't been there yet. Exactly. And so now you get to where, metaphorically speaking, you're right underneath the clouds and you're just waiting to break through to see the top of the mountain.
Exactly.
And once you get to that point though, then you realize, you probably realize like, hey, like I can get to the top of this mountain now. Like this isn't impossible.
No. It actually, a dream turned into a reality of being like, I can do this.
Yeah. And
I know I can do this.
And that's is that a whole mindset change once you realize that?
It does. You approach everything different. And it's amazing how much harder you work when you realize your goal is achievable.
Yeah.
Like you will put so much more effort into it.
Right.
Because if you don't ever see anything from it, it's hard to wake up every day and keep working at it.
Yeah.
Like that's a tough deal.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that year, the season ends in October 1.
Yeah.
From there till January, what was that like? Because, like you said, like it's a whole mindset. Like KD's probably upset.
He was,
and
yeah.
pissed they
and he
didn't
should
make
have
it.
been. Like,
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. But you're over here like, I'm going to just work my tail off and I know we can make it next year. Like you're excited.
I
in
did.
in a whole
remember
different way than he is. Probably.
After the end of the year, I went to the Wrangler finals because it's just, that's what we do. Like,
Yeah.
you go to the Wrangler finals. And then as soon as I was done at the Wrangler finals, went to Texas.
Yeah.
Drove straight to Texas and I'm working at this.
Yeah.
And they're not going to stop me next year. Like
Right.
it was just a total mindset shift.
Right. So then when you show up to Odessa the next year, it's a whole different deal. Now you're one of the guys.
Yeah.
Now hey, I can hang with these guys. Now I just need to just do a little bit better than last year.
Yep, just a little bit better. And I even had the mindset of like, well, if I could have just had a little bit better winter, I don't even think I missed it by that much. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
like that.
Yeah, 18th. I mean, maybe $5,000, maybe.
It could have been.
It could have been $2,000 too.
Yeah.
But so you're thinking like, I just need to do a little bit better.
Yeah, just a little bit better.
So 2012, what was that year like?
Man, it was too easy. Honestly, it's the only way to explain it. Like we didn't do any good at Odessa, didn't do any good at Denver. And we kind of had a talk about it. Like maybe we need to shift our practice sessions up a little bit to where it's like, maybe we need to start making our practice sessions a little harder. So when we go to these rodeos, they feel a lot easier. Something clicked because we won 3rd or 4th at Fort Worth, made the short round at San Angelo, Tucson, and San Antonio all the same week. I think I ended up winning 2nd at San Antonio. I think I might have missed at Tucson, but we still ended up winning something. I think I won the first round too.
Yeah.
And then at San Angelo, we won 4th or 5th there too. Like, and then it just kept rolling. Like when I showed up at Reno, I was winning the world.
Really?
Yep.
And you're 23 years old.
23 years old.
Winning the world.
I showed up to Reno, I was winning the world.
Never won the world. Never even.
Never even come close. Like, kind of come close, but like,
right.
I don't even know if I was ever in the top 15. Like,
right. Because I mean, realistically, you see guys that get close, and then the next year, they finish 17th, and then the next year they finish 35th.
Yeah.
And then next year they finish 40th. And then before you know it, like they're out of the top 50 and like that was their one shot, And it's kind of like,
it is weird, man. That it's like that year either makes or breaks you.
Exactly.
Like you got a choice right here. It's going to go right or left. Which way are you going to go right here?
Right. Exactly. So you show up to Reno winning the world, never have made the NFR.
No.
You've got KD in front of you, which is a great hitter.
Yeah.
And I mean, now it's not about just making the NFR anymore, is it? I mean, now you're kind of thinking like, holy crap, like I need to be as high up in the standings when I make the finals.
But I didn't even think that. I was just roping. Like I literally was just roping.
Like you're almost so naive to it.
I was so just dumb to it. Like,
and do you think that helped you?
I had to have, because I literally was just trying to catch the steer.
Yeah.
Like none of it mattered. I think
that's crazy to me. Like, because to me, like I would think about it too much if I was in that situation. You know what I mean? Like I'd be like, okay, now like I'm number 1 in the world and I enter Reno. Like what an opportunity. Like I need to be top 5 when I go into NFR, or else like this is almost a bad year. You know?
Maybe
like,
I should have been thinking that, but I don't know. I just kind of kept roping.
Right. The summer, how did the summer go that year?
It just kind of kept rolling. I think he told me, because I still didn't have a clue. I didn't know how much it was going to take. I didn't know any of it. And we roped at Cheyenne, and it was the next week. He goes, "Well, man, I think we got enough money. I think you're in already."
Yeah.
It's like after Cheyenne, I still have 2 months of rodeo on left.
2 full months of rodeo.
The Northwest hasn't even started yet.
Right. And you're probably like your rodeo count's probably at like 45.
Yeah, probably
50.
40.
Yeah. Maybe 40,
Yeah. It probably will, honestly, maybe 45 at the most.
And you probably had what, like 60,000 won at this point?
I think 60 or 65, something like that.
Like,
but
I mean, it was
enough. He was like, man, I mean,
think we're in.
Yeah. we could maybe not win another dollar the rest of the year, and we're still going to make the finals.
So what was that like whenever he told you that?
Oh, it was the coolest feeling in the world, but still, it didn't sink in. Like
it still was like just a dream. Like you're still just kind of like,
it's just a thought of like, man, yeah, you made it. That's awesome. But it's not it didn't sink in. It really didn't.
Right.
Like, I honestly think the first time it sank in is when I pulled into Vegas.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll be dang. And so,
because it's just all team roping up till then.
Right. Yeah. Like it's nothing different. It
isn't. It's just team roping. Yeah. Like, but then when you show up and you're putting your horse up at the Thomas and Mack, and then
like you look up and you're like, oh my gosh, there it is right there.
Yeah. The break-in was the worst. Was not the worst. It was the coolest experience ever. Because I remember walking through the alley, got my rope, my horse, I'm going in.
Right.
And they open them yellow gates and it says Wrangler NFR on the front. And you're like, oh crap. Like, no, this is true.
This is real.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was probably the coolest feeling roping wise I've ever had.
Really?
Yeah.
What did you go in that year?
I think I was fourth.
Fourth in the world.
Yeah.
So is there more pressure on you going in that high? Because a lot of people don't go in that high their first time. A lot of times, guys' first time making it far, it's like, well, I went in 13th. Or I went in, like if you go in top 10 first time, like that's really good.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people squeak in their first time. You didn't. You had it made after Cheyenne. You know what I mean? Like, so was there a sense of pressure? Like, when does this kind of start to feel real? Because, like you just said, like you were so naive to everything before this. Like,
I think I was still the same way though. Like there was no expectancy on it. You know what I mean? Like
you're just out here roping, having
just
fun.
out here having a great time.
Yeah.
Like,
living the dream.
Yeah. I mean, and now the NFR to me was like, now I got a chance to make real money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that kind of turned into that where I was like, I didn't even think about the gold buckle.
Right.
I wasn't even like, that never even, maybe I should have thought about it more looking back on it, but it was all about, man, I want to make as much money as I can right here.
Yeah.
This is a great opportunity.
And you guys had a really good NFR, if I remember right, didn't you?
Yeah, I think we won second in the average, placed in some rounds and stuff. But
I mean, like you finished like top 3 or 4 in the world.
I think I stayed fourth the whole time.
Yeah,
I really
so you didn't gain
yeah.
no ground, but you didn't lose no ground either. But do you remember how much you won at the finals that year?
Yeah, I think it was right at 70,000, which is before the.
This was back when it paid
rounds paid 17,000 a night.
Right.
Yeah.
So 70 grand a week is like equivalent to like $110,000, $120,000 a
Probably
week.
So,
now.
yeah. I remember walking around, this is all also a new experience. Like people are walking around, like the whole goal was you wanted to outwin the allowance they gave you because they give you like $14,000, but you don't actually get money until you don't actually make money until you get past that $14,000.
Right.
I mean, so that was like, to me, that was the most pressure of the week.
Getting over 14.
Yeah, I want to win over $14,000
because I actually get to keep this money now.
Yeah, this is just the stuff you gave me. I'm actually going home with something.
Right. Yeah. So that breaking in the steers is that's when it started to seem real.
Yeah.
What's it like? 2 questions. What's it like running the first year, and what's it like riding in there for the grand entry the very first night?
Running the first one of the rodeo, or
the first one at the rodeo.
So the grand entry, I was a rush because before you go in there and you break the steers in, it's pretty empty like this. Well, then they bring the flags in and stuff like this, and when you go in, it's packed.
Yeah. And
I don't know if you ever watched Perf in there, but they like Montana.
Oh yeah.
Like the crowd goes loud for Montana, and I got to carry the flag. Like
even
it
better.
Was So I come rolling in. I was nervous for that.
And don't get bucked off. Don't fall off. Don't drop the flag.
Don't mess this one up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then
don't be that guy.
But by the time I roped the steer, I was pretty dialed in. Like all of that, it kind of wore off. And then it just kind of turned into team roping again.
Yeah. So I've never made the NFR, but the year I got to go out there with Wesley, I sat right behind the chutes. And I've been in the Thomas and Mack and watched several perfs.
Yeah.
And it still, it looks different than it does on TV, but it still looks relatively easy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the runs look like whenever a guy goes and he's 4.2, you're like, man, that was a good run.
Yeah.
And then when they go in their 3.7, you're like, oh man, that was a really good run.
That was a good run.
But then when you sit in the tunnel right behind the boxes, I mean, I'm from 15 feet behind the heel box watching it. And it's like, oh my goodness. Like this is nothing comparable to what it looks like on TV or anything.
No, the steers on TV are deceiving.
Very.
Because you're like,
They're
dude,
leaving you.
they look so easy on TV.
Yeah.
Like you watch them, you're like, dude, how are you guys missing these things? But they're trying to get away from you the whole time.
Yeah. And the arena is tiny.
Yep. If you give in your position or anything at all, you makes it really hard on yourself.
Yeah. So, right, like waiting in the tunnel, what was that like the first night? I mean, are you nervous?
Yeah, because you can't swing your rope. And I'm trying to swing my rope. I think I hit it on the wall.
Try not to wrap it around your head.
Almost knocked my hat off. Like I feel like I need to swing my rope and I can't swing my rope. And I'm stuck in this tunnel.
It's like, I mean, it's as wide as this table.
Yeah. I got people ahead of me. I'm looking behind me. Like maybe I can back out and swing it. And there's 3 guys behind me looking at me like you're in this thing.
There's only one way to go and it's to the box.
It's like you're part of a toothpaste. You know what I mean? Like you're on your way out. Like you're coming out.
Yeah.
There's no going back.
Yeah. So are the nerves like, I mean, are they kicking in or is it bad nerves? What was it like?
Oh, it was excitement, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's your dream come true.
Yeah.
It was,
what'd you do on your first one?
I think we placed, but I don't think we were very fast.
Right.
Like it was one of those rounds, we just went and knocked the steer down. Like we were mid to long 5.
Yep.
Won money.
Yeah.
Just maybe 4, maybe last. I think we might have won last. No,
yeah.
But still,
it's like deep breath afterwards.
And then it's like, oh, it's okay.
I caught the first one. Like, if I don't catch another one this week, at least I caught the first one, right?
Like I said, at least I got started off on an okay foot.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have a good year in 2012, make the NFR, finish 4th in the world, win 70,000. Probably the most you've ever won in your life at that point, right?
Yeah.
Like
ways.
I mean, and everybody thinks, oh, you won 70,000 at the end of the year. Like, that's great, but you're not rich by no means.
No, you feel like it.
You think you're not. You're right. But what you don't realize is coming is coming. Yeah. And it happened to you.
It did. I thought, man, you make it once. I got it. You know what I mean? Like you're never not going to make it. It's so easy.
Yeah.
Like, and then 2013 hit and we were having, man, we had a rough winter, just couldn't get things going. Well, then we won Austin, kind of caught us back up. And then roped okay in the spring, kind of was still a ways behind. And we actually won Reno that year. And then like the summer just felt like it was just hit and miss. Like I hung between 13th and 18th the whole year.
All year long. Yeah.
Like 1 week I'm in, 1 week I'm out. You know what I mean? Just it's going either way, and you can just tell at the end of it, it's gonna end up either you're gonna be just in or you're gonna be just out.
Right.
And I ended up just out. I think I finished 18th again.
18th. So it's kind of like the mindset shift.
Yeah.
That's hard to say. The year before you finish 18th, before you make the NFR.
Yeah.
You're pumped. You're thinking this is awesome.
There's no holding me back at that point.
Now you make the NFR, have a good NFR, and then you are 18th again.
Yeah.
And now what's that feeling like? It's different than the first time.
Yeah, it was a bummer, man. I was like, once they have the NFR and you make it, they can't have it without you.
Right. You realize how important it is to make it then. Yeah. Because you're like, oh my gosh, I won 70,000 at the end of the year. Wow.
Oh, I know.
The guy that won $1,500 less in the regular season that didn't make it, didn't have that chance.
Actually, I think that year
was that the year Colin missed it by $2?
Yeah, $2. I think
$2. Yeah, I was gonna say I remember they counted like his change from his stuff because it was that close.
Exactly.
And so, bad. I mean, that's just what was that like? I mean, that process, because what people don't realize is from 2012 to 2018, you didn't make it.
No, not once. Didn't even come. I come close in 13 and I come close in 17. But there was 14, 15, 16. People didn't even know I was entered. I went through some stuff. Healing changed and I didn't, I guess would be the biggest thing is I didn't really realize how much the mental game plays into effect on this.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was just roping. Like I thought as long as I rope, I'm going to be fine. I'm going to make it. Like, I think team roping progressed in those couple years, and it took me. I kind of just stayed where I was. I stayed very stagnant. Hill horses kind of like they were good, but they weren't great. You know what I mean? I thought they were good enough, but I kind of battled that a little bit, which was something. And then I wasn't roping fast enough, man. I was too slow.
Yeah.
Like I was a
that's a hard pill to
hop and a
swallow
half behind
as a healer.
Hey, I had to have Jake Long tell me this. I mean, he's one of my best friends, whatever. Like I'd ask him. He finally told me, he goes, dude, you suck. Like, you know what I mean? Like in the nicest, in the nicest way you can say this, like, dude, you suck right now.
Yeah.
Like this isn't ever gonna work. Something has to change.
Right.
I'm like, okay. Like, and I prayed over and over and over for like what it was gonna take for me to change to do that. You know what I mean? I'm just, asking over and over. And I kept hearing this thing like, you got to throw faster. You got to throw faster. But I fought it. Like, I'm like, no, surely not, man. I mean, I've done it before this way. Surely I can do it again.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be all right.
Right. Because I think I'm only 3 years younger than you, 4 years younger than you, whatever. But like our generation grew up, and I think you probably was the same way. Like you grew up you learned to catch every steer.
Catch every steer.
If you don't catch the cow, you cannot win.
Exactly.
That was burned into my head since I was a kid.
Back in the day when I first started rodeoing, there was guys that threw fast, but they didn't catch very much.
Right, exactly.
Well, I mean, and I say that they caught quite a bit, but they compared
to as much as a lot of guys did.
No, it was either you threw fast and you caught a few, or you caught them all, but you made sure you caught them all.
Right, and you was a little bit slower.
I was too slow. Like, and all of a sudden in that transition, them guys that threw fast learned how to catch them all.
Right.
Or almost as a lot of them.
They were catching very close to the same amount as the guys that caught all of them.
I mean, they were catching as many as I was, and they were doing it a hop and 2 hops faster than I was.
Right.
Like, there's like, this ain't going to work, man.
And that's a tough pill to swallow.
Dude, it was so hard.
I mean,
to go from thinking at one time, you're like, man, I'm good enough. Like I'm there.
Right.
And all of a sudden it's like, dude, you're not there, man. You're
like the game almost passed you by.
It did. It run by me, and I stayed where I was.
And you didn't realize it until it was probably like 2 years too late, probably.
It was 2016 before I really, I made the transition. I think it was the fall of 16. I did. I said, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna take the plunge. Like I have nothing to lose. Like it
can't get worse than this, right?
I was about to quit. I was looking at things I could do with my life. I was like, man, surely I can figure something out. Like, surely there's something out there for me that's not team roping.
Right.
Like I was borderline thinking other lifestyles.
Right.
So I'm like, well, I got one last chance. Let's try this. I'm going to try throwing fast. And day one of that went really, really bad. I mean,
yeah.
I think I was still living at Clay's house, and I'm going to do it. And it was actually kind of funny because they were Fastback come to make a video of him, and he was going to have me heel for him. It was so bad they left.
Really?
Well, because I told myself, I was like, I have to do this. Like, this is something I have to do. I picked this day, and I told Clay, I said, if I don't throw by second hop, turn the steer loose. Don't even pull it. I don't even want it. I don't want to deal with it. So I did. I threw as fast as I could every time, and I caught almost none of them. I missed so many steers. It was such a heartbreak because I thought I'm going to change this, and day one it's going to happen.
Right, like it'll click.
Well, I'm just going to start throwing faster, but I'm going to catch them all. It's just easier. That didn't happen.
It didn't work.
No, that didn't happen.
So how long was that process to get to where because I mean, even myself, I'm a 9+, and whenever I try to change things, you regress.
You go back, man. It takes time.
It doesn't matter.
It takes time.
It takes time.
What do the people tell you? One step back, 2 steps forward, or something like that?
And that's true.
It is.
Even you're a 10 healer. You've made the finals. You're you're probably thought of and regarded as one of the up and coming healers.
Yeah.
That year you made the finals, and then it's like, well, he didn't make it, but whatever. And then it kind of just went downhill fast on you.
Yeah, way downhill.
And now it's like
steep hill.
Yeah, and now it's like, whoa, how do I even get back to that spot? Is that kind of what went through your mind? I mean, obviously you knew the problem. You knew the problem was not you don't throw fast enough.
Yeah.
And
that was a lot of it.
At least we can fix the problem. We just have to execute it.
But there's still those demons fighting you of still, man, I mean,
they are. Are you
ever going to get back to that spot again?
Right.
And then, it took me, man, that's all I worked on for a while. And then 2017 was kind of, I want to call it a little bit of a turnaround year for me. I finished I think I finished in the top 20 again. Like
Right.
I gave myself hope.
Yeah.
It come down to the last week. If I'd have had a good week last week, I could have made the NFR.
Yeah.
And that kind of gave me that glimmer of hope again.
Yeah.
And but I couldn't, man. If you don't throw very fast, you have a hard time finding partners. You really do, man.
Yeah, that's true.
That I battled the horse deal, I battled the partner deal, I battled all of it, man. I battled like if you're not like if you're too slow, man, it's a chain reaction on what comes with it.
It's hard to find people that want to rope with you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, well, I can catch them all. They're like, sweet. I still want to win.
Like,
You know what I
that
mean?
doesn't do no good when we win.
I don't want to run,
and it pays 10.
Exactly. I don't want to just rodeo. But
right.
Yeah. That's kind of when I was in a transition spot with partners, couldn't find nobody, and once again, Jake Long stepped in. He goes, "Hey, I think you should call Brenton Hall." I was like, "Who's that?" And he's like, "There's this kid from Oklahoma. You know, the kid that wears the tight Wranglers, where heads on the paint."
Yeah, and he's like 17.
I'm like,
he's like 7 feet tall.
I said, "The kid's 18." I said, "He looks 12."
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And he goes, "No, he's 18." I said, "Well, does he want a rodeo?" I don't know. Might as well ask him. He goes, "I think he'd be a good run for the winter." The guy, he reaches every time. Like,
right.
Perfect. So I called him.
So before this, Brenton was known around Oklahoma. I knew who Brenton was then.
Yeah.
Because he roped good.
I'd seen him at World Series ropings, but
and he had won good at the World Series finals, I think.
He could have walked by me and I couldn't have told you his name.
Right.
I was like, no, it's just skinny jean kid on the paint.
Right, yeah.
Who does like to reach.
And you're standing there as an NFR qualifier, and you're about to ask this guy to rope.
Yeah. He was still on his permit.
Right. And and if I remember right, this was in the middle of the year?
No, we started the year off. Odessa was our first one.
Okay, that's right. So
I think he turned 18 that summer of 17, and he circuit rodeoed for part of it.
Right.
But we didn't start roping until Odessa.
But here you are as an NFR qualifier, asking an unproven 18-year-old kid. He was probably, a 7 elite header?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe even a 7. I don't know for sure.
I know. Yeah, he might have been, because I know he would hang around and rope in the 15s and 14s and stuff after the open roping.
Yeah. So, and here you are, NFR guy, and I'm asking this guy, are you thinking like, and what am I doing? Am I
28
crazy?
at the time?
Because you're taking a huge risk on an 18-year-old kid.
Yeah, I'd never seen the kid rope much.
And
a couple World Series roping.
Are you thinking like, this is kind of my last real shot at it? Did that go through your mind any or no?
Yeah, 100%. I was like, man, I mean,
if this doesn't work out, like I'm going to go get a job and figure out something with my life, because rodeoing's just not working.
It was miserable.
Right.
It really was, man. Rodeoing for that 4 or 5 years was miserable.
It's no fun.
It isn't. I mean, anybody that's out, this is a grueling sport.
Yeah.
And if you're not winning, it sucks.
Yeah. And that's what we talked about this before we got started, but people don't understand that side of it. You know, like everybody sees, oh yeah, Chase Tryan made the NFR the last 3 or 4 years of Brenton, and they did great and this, that, and the other, but they don't know about the 4 or 5 years that you went through between 2013 to 2018, where
I don't know how to put
your
it
life
politely.
sucked.
It was a living hell, is what it was.
Yeah,
it really was.
And you can ruin your life team roping.
100%.
You literally can. And I mean, I've seen people do it. I've come close to doing it myself. Like
it can turn into like a gambling addiction.
Exactly. Yeah. And until like I completely last summer just stepped off the hamster wheel and was just like, I am not entering.
No.
Not doing it. Like until you do that, like it just sucks you in, because if you don't enter, well then I can't win. And that's the only way I know how to make money. And then it's like the financial side of it is such a burden because it costs so much to rodeo. And I think that's what makes your life a living hell too.
I think the biggest turning point in my life was the day I stood in front of a mirror and and was real with myself.
Yeah.
I think I just lied to myself enough about like, man, you still rope good. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you rope. Like, yeah, you rope good, man. Like you do. And I did rope good, but I didn't rope near as good as I needed to rope. Like,
do you think there was a small part of you that was clinging on to 2012 and how easy it was that year? Like, I guarantee it worked so good for me in 2012. Why is it not working now?
That's why I didn't want to give up throwing fast, because I'm like, dude, look how much I won this year. Surely it hasn't changed that much.
Like, surely it wasn't just a one-time deal.
Yeah, surely team roping hasn't changed that much from then till now. Well, it did.
Yeah.
And I didn't. And it
exposed you, really.
Oh, big time.
And it was a hard learning curve. But you take a shot on Brenton. I mean, it's crazy to me. Like, this is your last chance, and you're like, I'm going to take a chance on a tall, skinny kid from Oklahoma that's 18 that rides a paint.
Riding a paint. And
like, what's my odds?
30. I don't even know. He's probably got 38-inch jeans. He was shooting 24 38s or whatever he wore at the time.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah. And this is the guy I'm going to take my last chance on.
Yeah.
Is what you're thinking.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it had gotten to.
Yeah.
But. And that took a lot of time, man. We and him did not win for a while.
Really?
It took us till we started roping in January. It took us till middle of March to fill his permit. His first pro rodeo on his card was Logandale, Nevada.
Wow.
That was his first. The California run was his first
time he got to actually have points towards the standings.
Yep. I think we won. I remember it. We made a good run on the steer to Oakdale, won like 1,600. That was his first PRCA earnings.
Check. Yeah. I'll be dang. And so you guys rodeo that year, you made the finals and he didn't.
Yeah.
Right?
He ended up missing it by, I think, like 8 or 10,000.
Because that was the year you roped with Bubba
at
the finals.
We did make the Canadian finals though, which helped a lot.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yep. So we went up there, and I actually think that's what changed Brenton's heading was up there.
Yeah.
Like he learned that what he does is good enough. Just
so
slow down and turn the steer.
What did you learn? Because it's kind of a funny dynamic how teams get partnered together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you were probably 28 or 9?
Oh yeah, no,
when you guys started roping together.
Yeah, I think I was. I think I'm. Yeah.
So it was kind of almost like role reversal, like when you and KD roped together. You know, like now, like you're in KD's shoes, where you probably did the entering, and you probably did all the planning. And
I did all the entering. I go, Brent, do you want to go here? What state's that in? Like,
yeah, he's like, you want to go to Casper, and he's like, is that in Montana? And you're like, no, that's in Wyoming.
Yeah. No, it was. I think we might have went with like Sisters, Oregon, or something. And he goes, I go, do you want to go to Sisters? State's that in? I was like, it's in Oregon. Seems like a long ways. It is. Yeah, I'll go. I'm like,
yeah,
no one gonna turn, but he shouldn't have known nothing. He's 18 years old.
Yeah. So how did you go about entering that year, knowing you're roping with a rookie? Because roping with a rookie healer is a lot different than roping with a rookie header.
Man, it was Canada. Like I said, I think Canada saved us. It gave us, not saved us, but I think it's what really helped us out as a team, because it felt like Brent was still trying to find his identity.
Right.
Like he's reaching, and he's got, this dude's got more talent than needed by anybody.
Right.
And like he knows he has it. Like heading is too easy for him sometimes.
Yeah.
So you're trying shots that may be like, hey man, like one more swing right here.
So we just catch a cow and get paid.
Yeah, like we go up to Canada and we just start catching the steer, and almost our run was fast enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it turned into, then we went from there, went down to Reno, won the second round. And that from then on, like he turned it on.
Was that kind of when you think it maybe clicked for him? Was like,
yeah, because we won 20.
Reno?
I think we won 25,000 over the fourth.
Wow.
He just turned steer after steer after steer.
Yeah. And you're thinking like, holy crap, this is actually working.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. I may not have to go get a job this fall.
Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That's exactly. I was like, yeah, it was, yeah.
So the summer goes pretty good for you guys.
Yeah, it did.
I mean, because he came really close to making it.
Well, that's what his first pro rodeo was in April, and it come down to if we do good at Puyallup or Pendleton, he's got we do good at either of these, he's got a really good shot. He's gonna make the NFR.
Yeah,
probably gonna make it. Like
right, those rodeos pay good enough.
If they pay good enough, in the way it would have unfolded, that like if we have a decent hit at either of them, he's probably gonna make it.
Right. So you hit the end of the year, you make it, and he doesn't. What is that feeling like? Like, well, I accomplished my goal, but my partner didn't get to come with me. Because you did rope with him all year.
Yeah. I mean...
Because he legitimately, I mean, did you have any earnings with somebody else?
Yeah,
that
I
year?
won some at the circuit finals and stuff. I did good at the circuit finals, but yeah. I think it was one of those... I mean, he felt, I think he told me, he goes, man, I'm so happy for you. Like, got me there. And I think he felt like I did that year with KD. Like, dude, I got a chance now, man.
Yeah.
Like, I got a good chance I can make this work.
Right.
I think, and he was on that side. Yeah, the thought of Plus, as soon as we got done with the year, it was like, man, we start getting ready for the Canadian finals.
Right. Yeah.
So that kind of took over.
Give
So
him something to look forward to a little bit.
I think I did. As soon as we got home, I bought 10 hard running steers because I'm like, surely the Canadian finals is hard, but I didn't know they roped the same steers they roped all summer. Like they're just loping.
Yeah.
And we'd been practicing on stuff that was just trying to outrun us.
Yeah.
They were really good NFR practice, but not Canadian finals practice.
Yeah.
But that kind of occupied him. And then he helped me get ready for the NFR. And then by that time it was, time to start over. Let's do it again.
Right. So you roped with Bubba there that year. You guys had a good NFR. You won over 100,000 if I remember right,
yes,
didn't
sir.
you?
I think so, yeah.
And so it's hard because like you want to win that with Brenton because you're open with him next year. You know what I mean? And like financially, that's a huge boost for you.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're like, hey, we can fly to Denver short round if we need to. You know what I mean? And he's like, no, dude, like we got to drive because
I don't have that money, man.
Yeah, exactly. And so like that dynamic is it's not weird, but it's like it's hard to navigate.
Different, man.
Yeah. And so what was that like roping the next year and like getting Brenton over the hump to get him in and rope with him at the NFR?
Man, it was one of those things though. Like we both kind of only had one horse, so like that changed up a lot of things. Like we don't just, I'm not just gonna send horses over here and stuff like this. Like we tried to like we're gonna drive, we're gonna ride our own horses. That was another thing. I've always had the mindset of like I don't love mounting out.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people have a lot of really nice horses, but I want to be on something of mine every time I go somewhere.
Yeah,
that's my main goal. So I've kind of always been that way, and I think Brenton kind of feels that way of like, well, if I have the choice, I want to ride my own horse.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we kind of entered it around that way. But I don't know. I always shifted my mindset of I just always kept telling Brenton, man, just keep your head down, turn steers.
Right.
I said, everybody has their own way of handling stuff, but I just kind of always instead of like, man, just you can't do anything with the stuff around you. Like just keep your head down, turn steers.
Yeah.
And he did good.
Yeah.
Like,
you guys went in 19 top.
Top 15. I know that.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. But it wasn't at the bottom, if I remember correctly.
No, I think we had it made a few weeks before the season was over.
Yeah. I was wanting to, I remember seeing you guys at like Bremerton that year and you had it made already, I think.
Pretty close.
Point.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, okay, like we can kind of just enjoy these last few weeks. Like we're probably for sure in type of deal.
Let's have fun and rope for a while.
Exactly. And then you show up to the NFR and have a really good finals.
Man, he headed so good that week.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it comes down to the 10th round. You guys have got a legitimate shot to win the world.
Yeah, I think if I would have kept 2 feet, I think I'd have won it. I'm pretty sure.
Did he hick you a horn on the steer?
Yeah, he did.
On the last one?
No, it was like
that
round, I don't even know what round it was.
Because it was looking like it was kind of your guys' to win, really. And then he hickeys a horn and it's kind of like, oh, that opened the door for everybody else. Or maybe kind of put you guys back right with everybody else, and then he come right back and turn.
Oh yeah, turn 2 or 3 really good ones, and then
he
come down the last one. And man, steer was slow. He was slow, and he stepped into Brenton a little bit, and I heeled him. I actually had a picture of when I'm pulling my slack. I have my rein and not my rope. I lost a leg. Kind of a bummer.
Really a bummer.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, it is a big bummer.
Looking back on it, it's like I'd rather had that been the rope.
Yeah,
the reins.
If you could have it your way, it would be the rope in your hand, not your reins.
Instead of my rein.
Yeah. Big bummer.
Yeah. But still happy because we just won. It was
you won like 100 and some thousand, right?
I think I won 145. Like,
wow.
That's what it was a weird feeling because I'm bummed I didn't win the gold buckle, but at the same time I'm like, man, you just won
more money than you've ever seen in your life, probably.
Ever. Like, yeah. Like,
is it one of them deals where like, man, I'm really sad that I didn't win a gold buckle, and then you log on to your bank info and you look at your bank statement.
Honestly, the gold buckle didn't even sink in because,
right.
My mom did a good job. She texted me as soon as she said, you still won the average, you still placed in the last round. She goes, they just put your numbers up. This is what you want. Yeah. I was like, that made me feel pretty good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you guys was reserve world champs that year, is that right?
Yeah, I don't even remember. Because if you don't win it, no one really remembers.
Yeah, nobody really cares who was reserve world champion that year. But you still had just like it's kind of a bittersweet feeling. You know,
it really was. Yeah.
I mean, it had to have been for you guys.
Yeah.
What did Brenton think of that I mean, that's his first trip to the NFR.
I don't know if he knew anything different.
Yeah,
man.
like
we just
he
go.
might have been as naive as you were.
We just go and win money. That's what we do.
Yeah,
we just show up and I turn steers. We win a lot of money.
Right. Exactly.
That's all we do.
Yeah. So you make it in Texas in 2020.
Yeah.
What was that? I don't remember how you guys did that year.
Not great. We won one round and placed in another one. Placed in the first round, and it was, I don't know. It felt really hard that year.
Yeah.
Like the arena was big. Runs were setting up different.
It felt like the steers were very difficult to heel because
the arena was
so
set up
big
different
and strong, and then it was set up with the left wall. Like it was almost impossible to keep the cow's head for the header. Like
it was so weird. You almost wish your header would have took another swing.
Yeah.
To just put it more out in the middle of the arena.
Right.
That's the weirdest thing in the world to say. To think like,
yeah.
Just wish my header would turn him a little bit slower. You know what I mean?
You've never said that forever.
Never once, and I'll never say it again. But
that setup
at that time, it felt like it's like, dude, if they can just be a little bit further out there, there's more room to make the run happen.
Yeah.
And that.
Do you remember how much you guys won that year?
I don't even remember. Probably 40-some thousand.
Yeah.
Which is still
awesome.
Which is crazy because COVID, as bad as it felt and as bad as it was, I think COVID year, I think we won 44,000 to make the NFR.
Right.
I think I doubled it there. So in perspective, it was for the year, it wasn't bad, but when you're there and in the moment, it's terrible.
Yeah. And whenever you won 140 last year.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you won 40 this year.
Because that's supposed to happen every time you go.
That's what you think. I'm sure as soon as you win that year, it's 140 grand in your pocket.
The worst is because it feels so easy to do it. When you get tapped off, you're like,
this is simple.
Why does everybody not win 150,000 out here?
Yeah, I can't believe these guys are having trouble.
Yeah.
But fast forward to this last NFR. Do you want to talk about it?
Oh, I'll talk about it. It didn't, man. It was. I mean, it's an experience, man. The worst part of it is I had COVID. The whole time.
Really?
Didn't realize it. Didn't know it. I got sick about round 7.
Really?
Yeah. I was really wishing they'd test.
Yeah.
Let's go home. I'm telling you, dude.
Let me collect my COVID check.
Just please, just give me something. I want out, man.
Yeah.
I felt like crap.
Because I remember being out there that year in 2018 and round 10, half the guys are ready to go home and the other half are let's run 10 more.
Yeah, I don't want this to end. Let's keep this party going, man.
Exactly. And so being on, you were at the highest of highs of it, other than you keep that leg, you want to go buckle. That is the highest of highs, but
it really couldn't have got a whole lot better.
Right, exactly. And then fast forward 2 years and I mean,
at round 7, if they'd have let me
check out, you'd have done it.
Yeah. Hey, we'll give you 5,000 for the rest of the week. You guys can head out. And it's a weird feeling because you have to keep showing up.
Yeah. Because
every night pays $27,000.
Yeah.
You have to keep going back. You know, I mean, even if you have a terrible week and you win round 10, that's $27,000. That's a lot of money.
Yeah. You go to the jackpot and win 27 grand, you're pumped.
You go anywhere and win 27,000. You feel like you've had a good day.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, and you did have a good day. That's a good day anywhere else.
You're right.
So you have to show up for 10 nights, no matter how good or how bad it's going. And you have to be there, man.
Mentally, what does that do? I mean, what was that week like? I mean, I know you had COVID, so
it's a mental butt kicking. It literally it beats you down.
Yeah.
I mean, it just wears on you because.
Is it at the point where you almost dread the perf coming that night?
A little bit. I mean, you don't ever expect bad things to happen, but it's almost like it hits a point where it's like, okay, now what? You know what I mean?
What else could go wrong?
Yeah. And I think, I mean, was it round 7? Brenton's horse has an abscess. He can't walk.
And you're like, really?
Brenton leads him out. Brenton leads him out of the stall, and he's just packing a leg. And he goes, "Dude, this ain't good."
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
What are we gonna do now?
Yeah, well, what do we do? You know what I mean? I was like, I know it's a lot of money. I said, but this is a career right here that you're sitting on. You don't.
Yeah.
This couple runs ain't gonna be.
It is minuscule compared
to for what this horse is
worth. Yeah.
Exactly, and what he's gonna do for the rest of his life. You can't.
Right.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was.
What did you guys win?
Not very much. 5,000.
I was gonna say I didn't
get skunked, so I do know that.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
It's so funny.
How does that work? Because like they automatically add what, like 10 or 15, 10,000
Yeah, they
when
give
you
they
show
give
up?
you 10 grand, and then I think we actually won. I think whatever last in round paid. I think that's what we ended up winning. It was.
So did you get to keep the 10,000 or did you have to
Yeah,
give
no,
that
this
back?
time they actually give it to you now.
They do.
Yeah, and you
So-
give it, and you don't have to. Like it's just yours now. They changed
Right.
that up. They gave you less, but
It's
you
like
get
a
to keep
bonus.
it.
Like,
Yeah,
here, you made the NFR. Here's your 10 grand bonus.
Yeah.
This is yours.
exactly.
Gotcha.
Which if you buy tickets, they take it out of your tickets. So it's
Okay.
really so you need to make it back out of people.
Right.
You gotta ask
You're
people for
you're
money.
going back to your mom and dad being like, hey, can you pay me $200 for that ticket
also
tonight?
like hey, let's charge a little more for these tickets because it
Yeah.
ain't been going real well.
Yeah.
So let's
We're not just giving them away like it's
Yeah.
candy.
exactly. No, they're not cheap.
They're high tickets
Yep.
now.
They are. They're going up.
Yeah. Man, that's just it's
It was an experience, man.
yeah, I mean, I can't because you show up and I know what people's like. I remember being back there in the warm-up tent before round 1 and everybody is so excited.
Everybody's living on that dream of, man, we're fixing to win 200 grand while
And we're going to have a gold buckle and
That's
our lives are about to change.
15 teams.
And then you hit 9 days later and half the people back there don't want to speak. They don't want to talk to you. They barely warm their horse up. It's like
The 10th round's even better because everybody's trying to get their rigs moved around. So as soon as they're done team roping, we're out. I mean, this
out
is
of
the
there.
NFR.
yeah,
And as soon as the team roping's done,
they're out
round
before
10.
the calf roping starts.
Oh yeah, I remember. I think it was. You can watch. Yeah, if you left, you could watch part of the saddle bronc riding on your phone.
Yeah.
If you had all your stuff ready and you just, we're
Let's
gonna
load up and
rope.
go.
I'm gonna load my horse and I'm out. You
Yeah.
could watch part of the saddle bronc riding on your phone
As you're headed
as you're driving
up the mountain out
Yep,
of Vegas.
As you're getting out of here, you're getting the heck out of Vegas. Your dream come true.
Yeah.
And you're out of there by round 10 by the saddle bronc riding.
Yeah. That's so mentally, like, how do you overcome that? How do you overcome that year? I mean, because it's almost to a point where it's like, do you just laugh it off? Like, where this is almost like
It
it's
did-
not funny, but it's just
it
like,
did though. It got
what
to,
else could go wrong?
That's what I said.
So-
It got to the point of like, all right, what's next?
right.
You know what I mean? And
Like, let me just get my teeth kicked in and like, let's just get this over with.
yeah, I'm a big believer in perseverance. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to keep showing up
Right.
and I'm going to give it everything I got every time.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to have to fight a bunch of mental stuff. You're going to have to fight a bunch of physical stuff. You know what I mean? And they're just going to keep coming after you, but
Yeah.
I'm not giving up.
Right.
I'm going to keep showing up and I'm going to try my hardest every time.
Yeah. So, roping for a living in 2022, for the people that don't live around Stephenville and aren't connected to people that rope for a living and are very successful, what would you describe that like to people that don't know?
Oh,
Because there's a lot of things that people don't know
it's a
that
small,
go into this world that we live in down here.
there's a lot. And this is a small tank with a lot of big sharks in it.
Yeah.
Like, when I go to a roping,
It's like going to Bass Pro Shops, but they're being great whites in the tank instead of like little, 8-pound bass.
exactly. And you literally went to a roping. There was 13 teams or something like that. 12 of the teams were going to the NFR that year.
Yeah.
Like, you just can't, like, you have to show up and be on your top game every single time.
Right.
You can't, it's a hard place to season a horse. I mean,
Yeah.
just stuff can't go wrong. Like, you can't have mess ups
Right.
or else someone's going to be right there just chomping at the bit, ready for you to fall.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
I remember, like, I grew up in a family, and my brother-in-law, he roped a little bit, and he came down and stayed like 4 or 5 days with me. And at that time, I had 5 or 6 heel horses, and like it was, Stephenville, and we were roping 60, 80 steers a day, and then we'd go to the jackpot too,
Mhm.
And my family didn't grow up around rodeo that much, so I would catch comments like, "Oh, you're living the dream," like it must be nice. and I laugh at people when they say that. And not like to be
come
mean
live this
at 'em.
dream for a little while.
So I called my brother-in-law. I said, "Hey, come down." I was like, it was like in March. I said, "The weather be good. We can rope all day, every day." And so like we're up and like roping at like 8:00 at the house, and then like I'd go to Chad's in the afternoon and rope with Chad, and then like go to the slide that night, and then like we were up at 6 and didn't get into the house till 11.
Yeah.
And like by day 3, he's like, "Dude, do you do this every day?" And I'm like, "Yeah, this is every day."
Every single day.
And then people but people don't understand how much goes into it.
There's so much, man. Between the rope and All of it, like keeping everything going.
Yeah.
Like that's hard to do.
Yeah.
It's a process.
Yeah. There's just so many moving parts to it.
So many moving parts.
I mean, just today, you're out here trying to practice. You get the worst callback you've ever had in your entire career.
I don't know if it's the worst. It's up there though.
Yeah, but you're calling around trying to get a trade.
To find a trade. So if anybody has one, I'll take it.
Yeah. Hawk needs a trade.
I'd like to go to the BFI, please.
For the weekend. Yeah. He needs to go to the BFI.
I'd like to go to the BFI.
He needs to go to BFI and San Angelo.
Yeah. What's there? I've seen on the deal, there's 5 teams that got
your same problem.
Same exact problem. And there's maybe 1 or 2 trades they have.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like it's not all glamour.
Yeah.
It isn't. But I would at this point in my life, I wouldn't want to do anything different.
Yeah.
No matter how hard it gets.
What does as a 33-year-old professional healer, what does life after rodeo look like?
We ain't got that far yet.
Something you haven't really thought about yet?
No, I've been putting some thought into it. Honestly, I would like to be able to see my family more.
Yeah.
That was probably the hardest sacrifice I've given up trying to do this, is especially
because your whole family's in Montana, right?
Everybody's in Montana, man. I got nieces and nephews that are growing up, and I get videos of them every once in a while. Like, it's hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to see, and I'm very close with my family. Like I would like to see them more. So I don't know. I'm gonna figure out something that I can do up there.
Yeah.
Probably. You never know, something might happen too, and then it'll just end up being somewhere else.
How long do you think you rodeo for?
I don't know yet. I haven't got that decision. I'm gonna keep doing
just
it for
as long as it's profitable and they enjoy it. And
man, I don't know. It's right now I love it because I still feel like I'm getting better.
Right.
I know there's gonna be a day I'm gonna hit where it's like you can't, but it's just because you physically can't do it, your body won't let you, but I can't get any better.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that would be more of the day when I could walk away from it.
Right.
But while you're still getting better, it's still fun.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's still fun.
That part
and and even the day you walk away, you'll probably still enjoy roping.
Maybe. It's gonna be the weirdest concept.
Will it be a deal where like you walk away and just
I don't
rope
know
no more?
Well, this is the weirdest thing for me is I'm gonna go in the practice pen, and if it don't go good, it's not a big deal.
Right.
Like that's a weird concept for me.
That's hard to grasp.
That's a weird concept for me to think about. Is like if my horses don't work good or I don't rope good, it's not a big deal. Because this isn't what I do.
Right. And it's consumed your life for. I mean, if you go another 10 years, it'd be another, what, 20 years?
25 years of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, since I was 17.
Right.
It's been all I've thought about.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you got another few years left in you.
I hope I do. I think I got
Brenton's
him.
young, so.
Brenton's got him.
As long as you can keep him hooked, I think you'll be all right.
Oh, yeah. We're good.
All righty. Well, man, I sure appreciate you doing this.
Thank you.
I appreciate you telling your story on here and talking about roping.
Always, man.
It's what we like to do around here. But anything you'd like to add before we get off here?
No, man. I think we covered it all.
Well,
love it.
You probably won't talk for another 2 weeks after this deal.
I'm going to try not to, man.
You've used a lot of words today, so we sure appreciate it.
You bet. Thank you.